Drogba indirdi ceza. Snyder. Snyder gol! Allah'ım gol! Muslera. Fernando Muslera. Golün adı Muslera. Sarıyoglu. Drogba. This is incredible.
Bonjour, bienvenue, and welcome to episode 64 of the Lion's Den, a Galatasaray podcast, done by the community, for the community. From all around the world, I'm your host Samet, and we're back. We're back again. Yes. Well, who do we have with us today? We have from New York, America, the specials. Emre from Brooklyn, and Yasin from Manhattan. Yasin is a Manhattan boy, right?
He's fake lah.
He's fake. He's a Long Island boy.
I live in Long Island. I used to live in Manhattan, but got expensive, you know.
It's like him being a Galatasaray fan, right? Sometimes Beşiktaş, sometimes Fenerbahçe.
Understand.
I know.
Totally.
Right, Emre? This guy.
Yep.
Expose him.
I've done enough expulsion on Yasin. You can't get me to do any more at this point.
And of course, you've heard him, right? Salih is also back with us after his trip to Turkey. How are you doing, Salih?
Doing well, man. Doing really well. Glad to be back. Because, well, I know Emre likes the hot weather, but I really hate it, you know? When it's like 35, 40 degrees, humid as fuck in Istanbul.
Bro, not that degree, bro.
Yalan söyleme la. Şimdi çektim
I like
ya,
it warm, but not like if like 100 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever, 35 to 40 Celsius. You guys are bugging.
The Dutch and their weathers.
Yeah, so glad to be back. I missed the rain, you know. I missed some normal weather, like 20 degrees and such. But I had a blast, man. I went to do 2 games for the listeners who may not know it. Went to the Ljubljana game and the Trabzon game, which were both a blast. Also, I want to thank you from here, of course, for the ticket for the Trabzon game.
You're welcome.
Yeah, man. Feels good. That's all I can say, and hope to go again.
Did you pay Samet for those tickets, or he gave it to you for free?
Well, I did offer it, I think, right? You can correct me on that. But you were like, nah. And,
why is Yasin putting us on the spot right now? Like,
damn, that's crazy.
I'm expecting 2,000 euros from Salih.
Yasin.
For that game.
They don't take money from each other because you know what I don't want to say I might get canceled.
Dutch connection or something
else? No, something else. But
Tom. Anladık.
I mean, my Dutch side did show on it because a normal Turk/Mediterranean person would like, Salih there, right? He would like push to, let me pay. I just asked once, he said no. I'm like, okay, fine. Then I
super Dutch. Like I was expecting him to be like Turkish, right? And to be pushy. And when he didn't, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what do I do now? Should I ask him still? So, yeah, I was going to bring it up, but now, like, Salih, we'll discuss it after the pod, yeah? Because I had to use one of my transfers, man, for that.
Yeah,
you know how much that is? Anyway.
Yeah, but that's, again, it's kind of your fault because you,
what do you mean my
were
fault?
Cursing Felan. I mean, you got banned, right? During the game.
Yeah, but I didn't curse. Well, not that I remember.
Yeah, I probably did. Everyone does.
Well,
Samet doesn't remember what happens at the game. Samet goes to so many games, he doesn't remember anything from any of them.
Most of the time, like 90% of the time, bro.
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
That's probably why you don't remember.
Yeah, that might be the reason. I might contemplate about doing something else next game. But I have nice pictures to look back at. And I look like shit-faced. So I can't really use them as well. Yeah. Anyway, Salih, did you have a fact of the week?
Well, as we know, I actually stopped with that. You have another one. This time not about sharks, I hope, right?
No.
What was this again?
No, actually an interesting one. So I was discussing with my colleague at work. And this one is about Egyptians, right? So Mo Salah from Liverpool, Mustafa Mohamed from Galatasaray at the time, now Nantes. And basically, Egyptians have no last names. Did you know that?
No.
I know some Arabs, but I didn't know Egyptians.
Yeah, no, I was discussing and I was asking like, So how does that work? Like when you come to the Netherlands and you get like a visa or a passport, like what do you put as your name, first name and last name? So, oh, we don't have last names. Our first names, we usually have 4 you need. And that's just your father's names and the father of the father and the grandfather, etc. So it's like I was looking at Mustafa and it's like he's actually called Mustafa, Mohammed, Ahmed, Abdallah. And that's like his father, the father of that father, and the father of that father's father. So when my colleague came to the Netherlands, he had to split his name, so the 4 names he had, into 2. And then that was his first and last name, which is super weird and
It
interesting.
just makes them up.
Exactly.
So wait, hold on. You just gotta name your son what your father's name was, and the cycle keeps going.
Yeah.
But then wouldn't it be, let's say Mustafa has a kid, right?
Yeah.
Then his kid would be Mustafa. Then his kid would be Mustafa, and keeps going. Where does the next name come in?
If like for 4 generations you're called Mustafa, your name would be Mustafa, 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 Mustafa.
That's what I'm saying.
What the hell?
Yeah, exactly.
Just Mustafa to the power of 4, basically.
Exactly.
And it just keeps continuing. And Egypt apparently wants officially 4 generations as name, and that's it.
Now
Oh.
that you say that, there's someone that comes to mind that I know here in the Netherlands, the only other Salih I know. And I remember seeing his ID, now that you say that, because he's half Egyptian, half Turkish. His name is like, on paper at least, Salih, and his last name is like just a dash because he has none. Which is super weird to see.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God, I had a kid like that too in my school, bro. His name was Suleiman. I swear to God, it was the most random thing. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Now it makes sense.
Yeah, such
there
a
are also
light bulb
people-
moment.
There are also people who have like, I don't know, like let's say year that you're born, like 1970, and then the dates are just X, for both because I don't know.
Oh,
Weird
really?
shit like that. Yeah, I
That's-
saw that too from like Afghans or Somalis who don't know it.
When I ask my grandpa,
made
they
it
don't
up.
know either. It's just made up, like 1st of January. And then he says, well, I do know.
Oh yeah, I know.
when the crops were growing hard, that's about when I came to life. I'm like, okay. So that's how you basically guessed your age. Sure.
How would you know?
I don't
When
know.
you were born.
I don't know. Depending on the crop seasons and stuff, they know at that time. If the farmers
But you're not
they were.
even like conscience. Like your conscience is not like fully developed until you're like,
No, people
2,
you
3
say
years-
that, right? So people said that to him. And it's like, okay. His elders,
Okay.
his older people, because they didn't keep records, right?
okay.
So they'd say, oh yeah, when the potatoes came out or the flowers blossomed and stuff like that. So. But one more quick fact, which is interesting about the Egyptians. So aside from that, I also asked him, like, how do you call brothers and sisters of yours? And he was like, by name. And I was like, okay, but like, how do you call it in respectful manner? I said, oh, if they have a child, we call them, like, for example, Emre. Let's say you had a child and his name was John, right? And you were my brother. I would
Most
call.
white
I
name
would.
ever,
I
they
wouldn't call you by your name to show respect. You would be John's father. So that's how you would be referred to as. And the funny thing is, if you had a daughter, let's say Candy, you'd be
What the fuck?
whatever. I'm just calling it. You'd be Candy's father. But if you had first a daughter and then a son, they would always use the son. So you'd be John's father, even though you had a daughter.
Ooh,
So-
sexism right there.
Exactly my point. And then my Spanish colleague came in and said, oh, like our last names, we use both the mothers and father. And like, holy shit, there's a whole, I don't know, topic on
Oh,
last
dude,
name.
Latino names are insane, bro. They're so long, bro. It's like 20 lines of names.
Yeah. Exactly.
That female colleague was probably like, oh, they're exactly how I thought they were.
Yeah. But I think Yasin's getting bored.
He's crunching numbers again, probably somewhere in the background.
What?
I don't
Sorry, I fell asleep while you guys were talking about, what was it? Egyptian names?
Oh, God. Okay, you know what? Let's not.
Let's talk about Alperen Şengün. Haydi, let's do a different topic.
Let's talk about
Beşiktaş.
Beşiktaş or Fenerbahçe.
Or Fener, yeah.
Anyway, thank you.
It's more.
Let's just move on. Thank you for listening so far. I hope you weren't bored as Yasin. But today we will bring you, as always, the recent news of the past week, so we keep you up to date. We'll talk about the Champions League draws and dates. We'll probably talk a bit about Molde and Gaziantep away game if we have some time left. And international break is coming, and then we have our game afterwards. So we'll see what we talk about then next. Yeah, lads, lots of activity. Aslan, Yasin, Emre, Salih.
That is my name.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I want to start off saying, God, Icardi, man. Icardi. I mean, there's been so much to talk about Icardi. And the only thing I can just say is I love the guy. There's grown
I
up.
love him too.
Yeah, there's grown up men saying his name during sleeps. Wives that are jealous. Movies being made about the guy. I don't know if you saw the Yeşilçam movies with Wanda Nara and Mauro Icardi. It's just amazing edits.
Where they like what is it? They face swap him with dude, that shit's funny as hell.
I showed it to a few of my family members, and like they didn't notice like for 10 seconds. Like, oh, it's Icardi.
Technology.
Exactly. And then we had Drogba even talking about Icardi, right? It's like imagine.
That's the crazy part, dude.
Mhm.
Like other players are so like they want to play with. They're like, damn, I wish I was playing with this guy. That's how good he is.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much of an impact he's having.
7 games, 7 goals, 1 assist at this moment. It's insane.
And imagine if the team was actually performing at their highest level, and he was in form.
Bro, Icardi's like not fit. Like he's getting baklava offered left and right, and his belly shows it. So imagine if he's fit, bro. Today at Antep again, he got a tipsy baklava. He down.
Bro, but you're in Gaziantep, you have to eat that. No, like, come on.
True. I think for each goal he took a piece, right?
Yarasın.
Aynen. It's amazing, man. And we'll talk about his goals today, but yeah.
Just, I mean, you guys say, imagine he was better fit. Imagine that the team and the midfield was actually capable of putting a couple passes to him each game. Like, he scored a penalty today, which, you know, he got himself, so he created that himself. Mm-hmm. He scored a nice goal. Kerem, finally, one of his, 10, 20 passes, finally found Icardi this season. I'm sure they'll build that chemistry again like last season, but my point is we're just not finding Icardi so far this preseason, during the Champions League qualifiers, the playoffs, the Super League games, and yet he still has 4 goals and in 3 games in the Super League. That's incredible. I want to see us make a better attempt at finding him the ball, because he's basically telling us, look, get me the ball, I'll give you the goal. So we have to do a better job as a team, whether that's the coaching staff or, I think more specifically, the board, in finding the midfielders, letting go of the ones that we don't need and bringing the ones that we do need, so we can provide those opportunities to Icardi. Bringing him was incredible, but it's not that simple. He can't always win us games out of nowhere. We have to get him the ball better, and that's what I want to see going forward, because if we do that, he's going to break all types of records. Simple as that, if he stays healthy.
Let's say he's going to rest. Who's going to come in for him? Halil? Bakambu?
Yeah, no thank you.
I mean,
it's not the same.
The Bakambu was top scorer in Greek league. What happened to the guy? Every time he comes in.
Farmers League.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
I think he needs more time.
Yeah, for sure. He has quality, for sure. Like if you remember Bursa, but there he played on the wings though. So I don't know.
He played like a winger / striker. But
yeah,
dude, the guy
didn't
score all those goals in his history accidentally. You don't do that by accident.
Oh no.
Look, he had opportunities today that he absolutely butchered. I was like, what did we do? Like, natural reaction, what did we do bringing this guy? But the reality is, a striker, especially a striker, we've talked about this many times before, they need that first sniff of the goal. They need that first goal because that's how a striker gets in form. You'll hear a lot of strikers talk about this. Hakan Şükür, you hear anybody say this.
Yeah.
A striker to get in form, to get to their usual, what they're famous for, they need to get that first goal. After that, it's history. If it's a good striker, they'll find more goals. But if they don't get that first one and the frustration builds, in which this case it is, because he's playing behind Icardi, he's coming off the bench. We haven't been playing that well. Our games have been close. So it's just not the best atmosphere in the team right now. Players like him are going to look even worse than they normally would because they're just not getting the opportunity. So
not only that,
yeah.
Just to add to when he comes in, he's playing with the likes of Barış Alper and Halil. Like he's not getting the best of the team, right?
Yes,
he's not
bro.
getting Mertens. He's not getting that service, like constant service, and he's not going to get the ball into the net if he's not getting service at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, you make a good point.
True. Well, we'll have a lot of games. We'll see him get a lot of opportunities as well. So, yeah. Let's just move on to... I think I want to bring people up to date about the transfers first. I'll quickly go through them. Berkan Ismail Kutlu left to Genoa.
Sorry. You had to throw in the smile there. Yes.
Yeah. It's Ismail. 250k loan fee we get from him, and there's an option of 5 million euros. So he's left. We have also that Alparslan Öztürk left. He basically departed for free. He's a free agent now, so thanks Alparslan. I remember him being called up to the Turkish national team, and now he's just a free agent. Interesting stuff. Yeah, another almost to be free agent is Christian Luyendama. He seems to be training with the women's team, honestly. If you look at where he's hanging out. He has one more year left on his contract, so we'll see what he does.
Dude, I thought this guy left like 2-3 years ago. How is he still on the team?
Loaned him out a lot, and we extended his contract, right? He never returns
That's
from
so
that.
dumb.
But we'll still remember him as the boss he was against PSG, right?
Bozdama.
I know. Some rumors.
He went to Al Tawun.
Yeah, Al
Let's say.
Tawun. Yeah, Salih Özcan from Dortmund, a rumor that came in. I don't believe that will happen. So, and then we have Eyüp Aydın, a very young person from Bayern München, 19 years old. They are saying we signed a 4-year deal. And another youngster from Dortmund, I think his name is Gökdeniz Gürbüz. He's 18 years old, so nothing official yet. Some rumors, of course, on the midfield. Emil Breivik, Sofyan Amrabat is gone. Not a rumor anymore. He went to Manchester. We still got Saul Niguez, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Wilfried and Didi, Tanguy and Dombele. Like, I don't know. If you go to Transfermarkt, you can find them all. Like Thomas Partey, everything is linked to Galatasaray. Yeah, so we'll have a touch on that. And Yunus is gone as well. My S-tier boy went to Leicester.
Lol.
Leicester City. And what we're getting from him is, I think, around 10 million euros. We're getting a loan fee of 500k. Next sales profit's going to be 15%, is what I read. So there are some conditions, of course. But yeah.
Conditions, I don't think that'll be met, but okay.
We're going to see.
Could be. It's based on games that he has to play, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
in a championship, there's
It's to play
shit ton
like-
of games to play for.
25 or something like that. What were the conditions?
Yeah.
I think
One of the
50%,
conditions.
And since it's 46 games, then I assume it's 23 or 25. They didn't give it.
But is that in addition to making it out of the championship into the Premier League?
That's something I don't quite remember, to be really honest.
That becomes
Okay.
an obligation if they go up. Like, I don't know.
Is it in addition to playing 20? So do they have to go up 20 to the next
Oh,
league?
no. I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah. Boop. Yeah. So what do you guys think about... I can't call it Winger Sarai anymore after all the people that left. but definitely not midfield Sarai.
Yeah,
No, because we
we're
lack in that
lacking
area. Yep.
Mm.
big time, bro. You can tell by the games that we've been played. Like every team is just going past our midfield like slicing butter. Like you can tell that we need reinforcements ASAP. And I don't know. I really don't know why they didn't sign a few players that were available that they could have signed earlier on. Like we're not going for the big names, or maybe we attempted and we couldn't go. But the fact that we didn't get at least one ready player, like apparently we were like really close to signing Szymanski, and he wasn't that expensive at the time, and he was ready and willing to come, but we didn't sign him because, well, people are saying there were like non-agreements with the wage gap or whatever. There's like 400K between what he wanted and what we wanted to offer him. But then he goes to Fenerbahce for like 2.5 a year, right? I mean, like get one player so you can actually give the Hoja some breathing room in that midfield, because things are looking dire, man. We're forced to see Kerem Demirbay, who's not ready, and that's the issue with what we have done so
harsh,
far.
Emre.
Hold on.
Sure.
Well, okay, maybe I'm being harsh, but my point is we're not getting anyone that's ready. Every single player that came to us is practically unfit, needs match time to get into form. We just need at least one player
Bro.
that could be implemented into that midfield, and we didn't get him, bro.
Thomas Partey. So
No,
Miguel-
Partey.
We didn't get them.
No, of course not. But if we
Don't
get
come to me
them,
with player. I can make imaginary things up too, Samet. Like, what's that going to change?
I think Emre's point is mainly like we didn't get a midfield, which I agree on. We didn't get a midfielder like in time that is actually ready. We got all these, I wouldn't say prospects because they're not young, but they're not fit, right? Like Ziyech came. I know it's not a midfielder, but he isn't ready.
Ziyech, Zaha,
become
Tete.
already injured. Tete wasn't ready right away. They're all, of course, like opportunities we try to take, because if you look at the fees, I mean, they all came for free basically. But still, the one area that we were lacking in, and the place we were not that happy with like Mertens, due to his age, of course, he can't run for 90 minutes, and Sergio, who's just defensively a liability. I was also hoping to see like reinforcement in this area, which we needed the most.
Just one.
Earlier in the season, because they can at least have a preseason, gel a bit, because we're not, gelled as we can see. But we didn't get anyone, and we're still waiting. As of this moment, we're still waiting.
Let's look back. We became champions, and I'm asking Yasin, and we didn't do any transfers yet. At that time, what did we say, or what would you say that we needed most? I think Salih already mentioned, but like we don't have all these players that we transferred. So who do we need most at that time, would you say?
Well, at that point, Icardi's loan was finishing, so he was going back. So I think the priority was to keep him, which we did.
Check.
I think.
All right.
I think we wanted a left back, right? Because we went through 4 or 5, maybe even 6 different left backs last season, which we checked off pretty quickly. And I think everybody had a decent argument for a midfielder. So we obviously had Sergio, we had Mertens, but Mertens was going into his final year. He's now 37. Sergio, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't exactly finish the season that great.
Yeah.
And it was questionable whether he can handle European football and the pace that we're going to have to play there. So I think there was a solid argument for that. Torreira, fortunately, we did God's work and we tied him up on a 4 or so year deal, so we didn't have to worry about him, but potentially an alternative to Torreira, because we saw that whenever he was not ready, we had to play with Berkan or Micho. Berkan did a pretty good job a lot of the time. I think both Fenerbahce derbies, but he's not a true CDM. Micho, I think, was a little bit underwhelming. He did his job, but then you have the Yabancı Kuralı, the foreigner rule. So there was a lot of question marks around our midfield, and it's very apparent now. I don't know if that's the answer you were looking for, Samet, but
yeah, it's a bit to enhance what Salih said, right? We didn't do the first transfers that was most needed. I mean, sure, striker. I think that was like the top priority, Icardi. And everyone should be happy we got him. Imagine a scenario where we didn't get him. Left back, I don't know if we needed that. I was fine with Kazım Can Karataş. And he did great, honestly. Okay, who's going to play more? Dubois was also fine. I didn't see the need for Angelino, but sure, why not?
The problem with both of them is they can't cross. They can't put in proper balls. And with Okan's system of play, he puts his wingbacks at the front of the play. So
have you seen
they
him
need
cross
to be,
today?
Yeah, I don't know how it's possible that someone that's known for being a great crosser can come to our league and just suddenly be so bad at crossing.
This was like
Doesn't make
Sabri on
sense,
the
bro.
left wing.
I don't get it, man.
He was actually not bad. Like when he first joined.
He had some decent crosses when he first joined.
Yeah.
Our trainers, whatever, cross specialists, I don't know what they're doing, man. if he turns into this, but we're bashing him for no reason.
Just a quick note, needs time, but when the team itself, overall, is not playing well, and it's apparent from everybody's point of view, we're just not playing good football. The team is still not organized. The team is not still finalized. The midfield is not finalized, right? That causes everybody that is on the field to not exactly play at their best game, unless they have immense confidence or they're just very familiar with the situation and they understand it. Icardi is a prime example of what I just said, where he's familiar with what's going on. He understands that these things need to change. However, he understands his job too, to score goals. You get him the ball, he scores, because he's been here for a year. But you throw in Angelino into the team, he's excited, whatever, but all of a sudden the team's a mess and he sees this. That's going to naturally affect his performance a little bit too. You throw Kerem Demirbay into the team, he's new. And all of a sudden he's in a midfield that is definitely not going to be the final midfield by the time things are done. He's being asked to start when, honestly, he doesn't look starter quality. He's still getting accustomed to his teammates. As a midfielder, you have to know everybody around you. You need to know how your right back and left back is going to play, how the runs are going to make. You need to know how the two other midfielders that are next to you are going to play. Are they going to want to go forward? Or are they not going to want to go forward? When they pass you the ball, do they immediately sprint and ask for the ball in front of you, or do they stay in that spot? A midfield is a very difficult role to step into, especially when it's already chaotic. Tete is a pretty raw player. He came from Leicester last season where he didn't really play too much from my understanding. There's a lot of expectations for him, but to be thrown into that role on the right wing immediately, it's going to take time to adjust. And when the midfielders next to you are still adjusting as well, and you're still adjusting to the right back behind you, Sacha Boey, that's going to take a little bit of time as well. He needs that confidence. I don't know about you guys, but it looks like Tete is he looks like a shy boy on the field. He looks like he is now surrounded by it's like if you were to throw an average player to Real Madrid. I don't know how to explain it properly, but he just doesn't look completely relaxed and confident yet. That's going to take time. And once he gets confident and relaxed, then he's going to play what we know him to be as, his potential, his floor, he's going to start to show us what we see in the highlight reels. Right now, maybe not right away. So when all this chaotic stuff is going on, everybody's performance is going to look worse than it actually should or could be.
But that just means that our planning wasn't really solid in terms of getting the ready players, because they know we have a shit ton of games. They know we have Champions League. So do you think it was more of you know what? We don't want to spend unnecessarily too much. Let's just guarantee Champions League first and then look for the rest? Or do you just think, oh, no, they just were very bad in planning all these transfers and they just saw opportunities left and right and just focused on that, quickly dealt with them because they're good opportunities, right? And the rest, we'll see. Because what the Champions League brought us, we went through the group stage, winning against Molde, away and home. And that means participation 14.8 million. The market pool 1.5. Coefficient share is 9 million. So it's 26 million euros that we got from just getting into the Champions League group stage. And now we're going to probably spend it on midfielders, but are there any midfielders left? Because, yeah, well, 1st of September has closed, and that means all the transfers are mostly done because England and Europe is closing, and a lot of the midfielders that we were linked with are gone. So what's left out there? That's the question.
Exactly. And you're not going to get ready players. No one's going to give their best players away without, for free.
Mm-hmm. And without like being able to get a replacement themselves now, because the transfer period is closed. They're not going to let someone go that they can't replace.
That's hence why I was saying Szymanski was a perfect opportunity.
Honestly,
like if you're not going for Fred either, then you have to go for someone better.
I was going to mention him. I was like, I don't care about Fred when I heard that 15 million is way too much, but I've seen Fener's game. Yeah, Fred is kind of what we needed. I don't know. What do you think, Yasin?
Like, I agree. I mean, the tricky part with Fred for a lot of people was the price, the asking price.
Mm-hmm.
Some people had their own opinions about quality, and I get that too. But for me, the reason why I was excited about Fred, and honestly, this conversation is almost pointless because he's at Fenerbahce now, but it leads to what we're looking for and what we need, which is a player that can play alongside or slightly in front of Torreira. They can complement each other because Fred is a player that knows how to take space. He knows how to bring the ball forward. And he has a lot of experience playing CDM, even though that's not his prime position either. He played CDM for Manchester United, a top 5-6 team in the Premier League for many seasons, many caps. He has a lot of games playing that position, even though that's not his best position. That's where he also got a lot of, I think, criticism because he didn't look good in that position.
But Yasin, other names like Fred. I mean, for me, Saul Niguez, I'd love to see him at Galatasaray. I know him from Atletico, and he's similar to Fred in my eyes. And do you know also, like, what other names do you have in mind would you want to see at Galatasaray in terms of midfield?
To be honest, man, there's just so many names out there that it's tough to really say anything. For me, and I think everybody would agree with this, a quality player. We just want to see quality midfielders. We can figure out the fit and stuff along the way a little bit. As long as they're all quality, they'll figure it out. Torreira is not exactly, built to be a CDM, right? He's not like, he can play like that CDM / box-to-box player, but we've been playing him at CDM for the last season, and he's done incredible at it. Mm-hmm. And that's because he has the qualities, and he's a good footballer. He understands where he needs to be, where he needs to go. He's quality. He is a quality player. A lot of people can argue that maybe we should play Torreira in front of an actual 6. You can make good arguments for that, and you'll say, listen, we'll make it work as long as we bring a quality midfielder that can play 6. Because Torreira is a quality midfielder as well, they can figure it out. Okan Hoca can figure out. Okan Hoca is an experienced manager. He's played midfield himself with a lot of other different types of midfielders. He'll figure that out. I trust that. But the problem is now, as Emre and Salih mentioned, is who we're going to bring. You ask me these names, I can go on and on about names that we've been rumored with, but it's kind of meaningless because we don't know what's going on in the background. In my honest opinion, Erden Timur is conducting this business. We know that, but I don't think he's sharing a lot of information. I really don't. Like these journalists that we used to say are tier 2 or like tier 2.5, they look like trash to me now.
I don't mind him not doing that, though. I don't mind him not sharing anything.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. It's a good thing, Emma. I agree with you. I don't mind it either. But it becomes a problem when it's 2 days from the Champions League squad registration date and we still don't have midfielders. Mm-hmm. Right now, a lot of people are panicking, and I get it, but it's almost too much because it's creating pressure. I mean, Erden Timur and Okan Buruk, I don't think they feel the pressure as much because they're in the weeds of it, right? Mm-hmm. Today after the game, they asked Okan Hoca what's going on with the midfield. He smiled and made a joke saying, I'm going to play the midfield. I'm a midfielder.
Really?
I love that. Some people are going to get annoyed by that. They're going to be like, Okan, are you fucking with us? Like, what do you mean? We have no midfielders. Why are you making this joke?
It's easy to say that after, Sorry, go ahead.
No,
after saying like being in the Champions League. It's easy to say that.
That's true too. He's probably relaxed, but the reason why I love it is because he's basically telling fans to relax. Like, if I'm smiling and I'm laughing and I'm making jokes, that means I know something that is I feel good about. So he's trying to convey that good feeling to the fans. If Okan Buruk, if they asked him today
He
after the
didn't
game,
feel that convincing after the Molde game, though. We won, of course, at home, but I think he didn't feel very relaxed after that interview. He was like saying, Yunus left, Berkan left. I didn't want them to go. So like he sounded frustrated at that time. I don't know. I haven't seen his after interview today, but I don't know if you recall, Yasin.
I think that was a bit earlier too. I'm sure a lot has changed in the last couple of days. Again, I'm assuming. That was a very stressful game too. It's easier for him to crack jokes after his team just won 3-0. That game, everybody was shitting themselves, clenching their ass because it was a tight game. So it's a very different circumstance as well. But my main point is like, there's still 2 days left. There's a lot of names that we've seen on Twitter and social media, whatever,
2
that
days
get us
for
excited.
Champions League registration, just to be clear.
Yeah, that's correct. And I think that's the most important thing because that's where we're trying to advance. Worst case scenario, finish 3rd place and go to Europa League. But I think a lot of people can agree with the way that the team in midfield looks now. 3rd place is even difficult. So I think we should look at it as 2 days left to finish the midfielders. Multiple midfielders is what we think I need. But before I pass it on to you guys, there's a lot of midfielders that we're rumored with, but there's a lot of midfielders that we don't know about. And I think until the transfer, like, I won't be shocked if in an hour we hear a name that we never heard of before. I won't be shocked if tomorrow we're linked with a young defender or a young midfielder that is under 25 years old that we're paying 5-6 million for. Don't forget who the Yönetim is. Last season, we bought Yusuf Demir for 6 million on transfer deadline day.
What a great signing.
Listen.
What a great
example.
Yeah.
my point is, like, we can do these things. It's not always going to hit. And Yusuf Demir, until his contract finishes, until it's terminated, until he's sold, I'm not giving up on the kid because I think he has a lot of potential. And you have to hope as a fan, when things are out of your control, that it's going to work out for the better. He's on loan now. I hope he plays. And I hope if he plays, he gets confidence. And he comes back better and he proves that he's worth that 6 mil. But my point is, like, we made sales. We've negotiated a lot of our transfers. So we're going to have money next season. Erden Timur is a smart man. He's proved this many, many times before. If you listen to him in his many interviews, he speaks with a lot of experience. You know, you just have to trust the process. Otherwise,
Can I step in?
Please go ahead.
Because look, I want to play the devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
I've never really liked trusting just one person with everything. Because yes, Erden Timur did great work up until now. Some were shaky, but for the most part, great work. Like bringing in Icardi. I get that. That's awesome. A+ from me. But we can all sit here and smile and laugh about all of this, but the Hoca is riding a very thin line with the fans. He has been riding a very thin line since preseason. And the Hoca has been asking for transfers this whole time. There could have been a scenario where we didn't land in the Champions League. You know, maybe there would be a scenario we didn't even get to the Europa League because this team was not ready. I understand that we're not playing the best, but you got to understand that this team was starting to break down slowly. This midfield was apparently, not at where it should be for Galatasaray and for Europe. Starting with Mertens and Oliveira, we already saw this. And the fans wanted just maybe one or few, like nokta atış, right? Few transfers. They didn't have to be big names or full-side transfers. And when the Yönetim came out and says things like, "Oh, we're going for people that are better. We're assessing our options," and they said we have people waiting 40 days, but we're looking for better options. People are going to get upset at that because there is that what if scenario. We played it very risky. We gambled a lot this season, and very fortunately, it worked out for us and Okan Hoca. And one thing I don't understand with Yönetim is even though Okan Hoca is providing all of this success, why aren't they giving him an extension to his contract? Why aren't they standing behind him? Why aren't they saying anything to simmer down some expectations that all these fans put on Okan Hoca? You know, and
you
then
think he's
come in-
worried about his contract?
Wait,
I
just
think
quick
he's
thing-
worried.
Quick thing, because I thought they addressed that by saying that the current Yönetim's period, like their time at office, ends next year. So I think there's gonna be another election next year. Or am I mixing something up here?
I
Like,
think you're right on that.
My understanding
No,
was
that's
they end next year, so they don't want to extend Okan Buruk beyond their term, just in case. And very honest, you know, what if the next Yönetim doesn't want Okan Hoca? So then then you leave potential trouble, money trouble with the next Yönetim. Then they're gonna have to pay Okan.
Do you know how
Hoca
much
to leave.
Okan Buruk gets
Boys,
right now?
boys.
He gets
boys.
600K.
Yeah, boys. Okay?
Yes, Samet.
Relax. I'm taking my hose and I'm opening the valve and I'm spraying on top of all you guys with my water. I'm hosing you down. The fire is over. No more fire. Because, dudes, like, imagine the situation we were in last year, the year before, the year before. How often have we experienced a transfer drought? And look at what we're getting. Look at all the candy we're getting in this season. And are we still complaining? Yes. Why are we still complaining? Sure, we are not addressing the most important part, the midfield. But a board, a management that has done so much already, I'll give him a few more days before I start the fire. And
I mean, how many days would you give him? 2 days? 1 day?
I'll start panicking after 5th of September.
Bro, it doesn't mean that you can't, criticize him. I'm not saying istifa. I'm not telling him to quit. I'm just saying it's very risky.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see why the fans are creating such a fuss about it. Those that are saying, telling them to get out, quit, are fucking idiots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You want to know
That's
what
why.
makes me feel very relaxed? The situation we are in as a team is absolutely dog shit. I mean, we're not playing as a team at all. We are winning by pure quality. And we are winning. Even with our worst games, we are winning. I think it was Emil from Molde's coach. He said, like, they just beat us with pure quality. Like, we were better as a team, but they just beat us with the quality they had. And that's Icardi.
Yeah.
And he also mentioned we were already a very good team that was halfway into the season. They just started. So he made that very important point as well that people seem to forget. We just started. Sure, we need to gel. Champions League is coming up. I wish we had midfielders as well, but that's why I hope the midfielders we get are coming ready to smash. And
I don't know about that. That's the point. We're saying, how often are you going to find someone that's ready
This late. Yeah.
this late into the season after everyone, their transfer window has closed? They're not going to let them go for free, bro.
Yeah, we're basically just getting, I wouldn't, like, not in a disrespectful way, but like we're basically just collecting scraps and trying to turn it into gold, right? At this point. That's how I would see it. Just
Yeah.
the leftovers or the the players who weren't transferred in time. I don't know. I guess we're going for those now.
on top of that, Micho is going away as well, right? So our midfield is becoming thinner and thinner. I heard about Micho potentially going to Pendikspor. And like on the registration part, we have to let go of Dubois as well. So if we get 2 midfielders that we want to register, we have to deregister Micho and Dubois. I think you have to register 14 people, so it'll be interesting. And that's might be why Berkan left as well, because he wasn't getting registered at all.
That's for Champions League.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, anyway, too much talk about midfield. Let's just wait and see. We will probably join again next week. And then, like, every week has been full of activity, so we'll go on there as well.
And just like, you know how I mentioned, because it's a very live update,
mm,
you know how I said there's like midfielders that we've never heard of that's going to be linked with us? Just now, while you guys are talking, a 23-year-old midfielder that plays for Lille.
Lille.
Yeah, it's so funny, so funny. Yeah. Anyways, he's 23 years old, plays center midfield. He's worth 18 million. He has 2 years left on his contract. Apparently, we're interested in him, and he hasn't been starting. He's been getting some minutes, but listen, if you go to these teams with a decent deal, and they don't see a future with him, but another team like us do, that's an opportunity that you can take advantage of, right? Like this kid could maybe start for us or be a good rotation player. He's a center midfielder. He can play attacking midfielder and defensive midfielder, apparently.
What's his
according
name?
to Transfer Market. His name is Angel Gomez.
Angel Gomez.
Well, it depends how you... I mean, he's
British.
English.
So
He's English/Portuguese. I don't know. Maybe.
yeah. He's playing for under 21 as well of England. Has played.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and Lille got him for free in 3
Mhm.
years ago. So it's not like they need to recoup like a giant fee from us. You know, if we offer maybe 5 to 10 mil, maybe we can finish some kid like
Mhm.
this. And he's young, so he can get better. So that's my point, guys. Right? Like I'm just trying to go back to what I said before. These names are going to continue to pop up over the next few days. I would not doubt it. Stay calm and trust the process.
No.
Well, I would like to see some quality too, because okay, he
Yeah.
might work, he might not work, but we're in Champions League, bro. We're
You're
not.
right. You're right, bro. We'll probably get one of those too. I hope. Let's see what
Mhm.
happens.
We'll see. In the meantime, we also signed from Manisa FK, first league team, a 16-year-old Efe Erish. He's joining our U17 team. So that will be interesting. I mean, there's different factors, different departments on different levels. Lots of action is being taken, as you notice with all the news. And speaking of the U17 and U19, they have been smashing it. Their first games, they've been winning it. And Suleiman Lush, he apparently has a little brother who scored a banger. I think it was Baran Lush or something like that. Yeah. And going further, lone knees. Metehan Baltacı, my boy after Emin Bayram, who's at Eyüpspor at the moment. He played a game and made an assist, his first full 90 minutes. And third game of Eyüpspor and all wins. I think they have another game soon. Matthias Ross, another centre-back Sarai. Loaned to NEC Nijmegen has also played his first few minutes, first 90 minutes, and third
Is
game.
Nijmegen in
Netherlands?
Eredivisie or are they?
Eredivisie.
No, but are they in the second league? I don't know what it's called in the Netherlands.
Yeah, for Eredivisie, that's correct.
Oh, okay. No, okay. All right, good.
And he won with his first 90 minutes, and that was Nijmegen's third game. The first two they lost. And I think today they drew. Also, our boy Matthias played second half or first half, I believe. So, good. They're getting minutes. They're getting playing time. That's really good for them. Same like Yunus and Zaniolo. But those we hope they get sold, and these we don't. So that's the difference. Yeah. Another loanee. Taylan Antalyalı, 28 years old, at Samsunspor. Played 3 games, and unfortunately he got injured versus Kayserispor. Broke a leg, they are saying. Taken to the hospital. And if that's the case, he'll be out for at least 2 months, I think. 6 weeks to 2 months, because, I broke my finger and has to heal for 6 weeks. I know about breaking stuff. There were a few interesting social media events as well. I won't go too much into it. Basically, a Twitch streamer was attacking Ali Yiğit Buruk, and after backlash from the fans, she attempted a failed apology. I didn't know about his illness, and I didn't want to do it. Blah blah blah. but she ended up being banned everywhere because of all the Galatasaray fans reporting her. And all her sponsorships were withdrawn and stuff.
And you know what's funny? All the Fenerbahce fans try to support her through all that.
Yeah, it's insane, man. I've 2 brain cells, these guys. Well, I don't get it at all.
Not all of them. I'm gonna give some of them. Some of them did actually flame her, but a lot did try to support her.
Yeah, there was also rumors about 14-year-old in the basketball team, women's basketball team, that's being treated really badly. Galatasaray made an announcement on that they're investigating the claims, etc. So chaos. I think it's chaos time, and you know what that means, right? When it's chaos time, that's when we
That's
try.
when we shine.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And I'd like to say 2 more topics, maybe 3, and then we can end that part. Albert Riera. You guys know that guy, right? He is writing history in Slovenia, man. You know he was doing Olimpia Ljubljana, the team we beat. He left that team, went to the rival Celje, and then beat Olimpia in the league. And now they're top of the league with Celje. It's just an insane story this guy is making in Slovenian league. It's probably an interesting book, actually.
I would love to see him at Galatasaray in the future.
Yeah. He was an assistant before, so why not? We will see. But yeah, what's Slovenia, right? That league.
It's still something, right? Because you're still like facing
consistently
Slovenia.
showing.
Yeah, exactly.
Indeed. And then the final news: Champions League, boys. Champions League.
Before we go into Champions League, you missed out one thing. It's a rumor, but apparently we're going to switch to Puma as the makers of our jerseys.
God, okay.
And a lot of people are not happy with that.
Here comes my rant. You know why they're not happy with it?
Yeah?
Yeah?
Sure, tell me.
Well, basically, Puma, the quality is dramatic. Not only Fenerbahce is done by Puma, but many other teams are complaining about the quality of the Puma kits. If you look, we've seen Fenerbahce with the Puma jersey, and it looks like in the rain, it looks like shit. It doesn't breathe. It looks like it's stuck on there, and they rip so fast. It's just low quality. Sure, there are categories. You also have Puma Elite, and I think that's just 4 teams that actually have that. Just like Nike Elite. And they have 8 teams, of which Galatasaray is one. The quality of Nike Elite is something else, man. You can see it on TV, you can see it when you feel the fabric, you can see it on all kinds of things. It's just a big difference. So I wouldn't want Puma at all. The best part would be just continue being in the Nike Elite category and just have another deal of 10 years.
Or go Adidas if you can.
I'm just so in love with the Nike Elite category that we are in. It's just
nice.
It's different. If nothing matches, man. It's just technology that they have. It's just
I don't like the
insane.
designs though. The Nike designs suck, man.
I honestly, people will complain about the designs no matter what.
No matter what.
That's what I feel.
Yeah.
Nah, the collar jersey that season, goated.
You know
Best
what's funny?
jerseys
Galatasaray
they've done.
actually selling exactly the same, but just GC store version of that jersey. You can go buy
Yeah,
it.
it's because it's goated, bro.
Yeah, but people are still complaining. It's there. So buy that if you want it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a rant about the GC store, but I'll leave that for next time.
You can follow it on Twitter if you want to.
Yeah, it's been getting quite some action and comments. And actually, they DM me, right? And there's such a story about that as well. Anyway, it's hilarious. But Champions League, boys.
Oh boy.
Salih, we drew. Who did we drew? Do you know?
Yes, we got Bayern Munich, Manchester United,
Scheiße.
and Copenhagen.
How do you guys feel about that draw?
It's not
Tough.
the worst draw.
Yeah, I mean, pretty bad, right? I mean, which groups were worse? I think Group F is probably on level with this one. with Paris Saint-Germain, Dortmund, and Milan. But,
Newcastle.
Yeah, but Group A is still pretty bad.
It's like middle of the pack.
Really? Who would you say
For me.
is? I
'Cause,
thought
like,
Group
look-
A and F were worst, in my opinion. But-
What? Bro, out of the third pot teams, we got a pretty good draw. And out of the second pot teams, we
Yeah.
got a pretty good draw. What are you talking about? It could have been way worse.
Yeah.
I think
It's just-
I
it's just
agree with
Bayern.
that.
It's just
I
Bayern.
agree. But the thing is, it's good that we have one monster in the pot. That means that they will win against our opponents. So we have more odds of going third or second. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
So-
true.
It's actually very beneficial. You know, a funny story. I drew this exact same pot in this.
Yes, you did. That's actually
That's
funny.
crazy, man. That's crazy. Like,
I
what are the
posted
chances
it
of
on
that?
Twitter, and I don't know what the chances are, but it must be very small. Like I posted, hey, Champions League draw today at 6 CEST, and then I put my draws. Like, who would you like to put in? And I actually noted, you know what, Bayern, Manchester. I'm actually more afraid of these Scandinavian teams, and then and then we draw exactly that same pot. I'm like, holy shit. Yeah.
You know, I did the
that's
same
crazy.
thing last time we were in the Champions League. I actually predicted the right draw.
It's insane.
Damn.
But personally, Bayern at home, if we gel our team with the quality we have, we might be able to pull something off. Manchester, I'm not so worried about for some reason. Salih, you follow Premier League much better, but Manchester is fearing Galatasaray. They are clenching their ass for Galatasaray. They did not want us at all.
Mainly because
Copenhagen.
they're playing like pretty badly right now.
hmm
That's the main reason.
So the sooner
kinda
we play
stuck.
them, the better.
Yeah, of course, because they're stuck between like two philosophies. I
Mm.
mean, he was your ex guy too at Ajax,
Ten
right?
Hag,
Ten
yeah,
Hag,
yeah,
but
yeah. He needs time,
he's-
man. He can put something amazing, but he just needs time. It was the same as Ajax. People wanted him gone.
Yeah,
but
people
it's
don't
already been a
understand
year,
that.
though.
People don't
Already been a year.
understand giving someone a time, bro. Like the time to do something. Like this isn't the team that I mean, how many players did he bring in? So like I know he brought in Anthony.
hmm
That was one guy he
I mean,
really
he
wanted.
brought in decent amount. That's why people probably are a bit more. He brought in like his players, pretty much like a lot of Ajax people, and he did get money for it. But yeah, it's only been 1 year, of course, and they won a trophy too, if I recall correctly. United.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
They don't have a striker, bro. That's you know what's funny? We have the best striker in our pot. Maybe he's tied with Kane. Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe he's tied
No.
with this guy that just got bought for 100. What is it now?
Maybe.
No, he's not. No. Who's
What do you
Kane
say? He's the best.
next to Icardi?
All right. Okay.
I
Stop.
thought
Samet.
someone was about to say Icardi is the best player in the Champions League, the best striker in the Champions
I'd
League.
make that bet. Let's put it this way. Would you, if let's say City came to your doorsteps and he said, hey, Gala, I'll trade you Haaland for Icardi. Would you say yes?
Don't ask me that
I'm
question.
not asking Yasin because he you know, he's the Finner boy. He is a Mr. Accountant. He'll say yes. He's like, he sees dollar signs immediately.
He's like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, it'll be a
says
60 mil
Samet.
profit.
I'm only a Jew for myself.
Okay.
That's really tough, bro. That's really tough.
Yeah, I'm thinking, bro.
Like this is Holland, bro. You know what I mean? Like, and if I have to think about it with Holland,
Yeah.
that's how you know how good Icardi is.
As weird
Icardi's
as it
top
may
5,
sound-
bro.
As weird as it may sound, I wouldn't take Haaland, I think. Bro, we have no service. Imagine
don't.
Haaland without service. Bro, he won't come into the midfield to pick up the ball and like create something.
Adam.
Yes, he's fast and he can finish, but yeah. Cardi can do that too, so why would we?
hmm hmm
The only thing Holland got going is he's younger than Icardi at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then his age.
It's like,
That's kind of
would I exchange my wife for a supermodel? No. No, of course not. Because I love
Is
my
she behind
wife.
you right now?
She's in bed. She's sleeping.
Okay.
Yeah, so
trying to score
that's
some extra points.
of course not. That's the case. If you love someone, you don't let him go. And as much as I love my wife, I love Icardi as well.
We read some other stuff in the Instagram group chat, just saying when you shared something, but
And putting the man on blast. I see you.
I
see you, Salih.
Anyway, we were talking about the Champions League.
Something was on fire. They said, "Let's go."
Yeah, sure. The dates are out. I'm looking at tickets. We are playing at home
Copenhagen.
against Copenhagen on 20th of September. We are playing away against Manchester United on 3rd of October. We're playing Bayern at home on 24th of October. And then again Bayern away at 8th of November. Back home, 29th of November, Manchester United. And then 12th December, we have Copenhagen again away. And I already booked my ticket for Copenhagen on the 12th of December, which is also my daughter's birthday, and the stadium where we won the UEFA Cup. So that just totem, all good stuff are going to happen. I believe we will top the group after that game. Which is our last game. And I'll probably go...
Are you drunk right now, Samet?
to a home game as well. Believe, boys, believe, like the Ted Lasso poster. I have one right here in my house. If someone watched that TV show. But yeah. How many points do you lads think we'll get from these?
As long as we make second, I don't care how many points it takes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of the same. Like points wise, I have no idea, but as long as we just don't like become fourth, like
well, you need minimum
second.
6. You need 6 minimum because you need to beat Copenhagen twice. You got to leave them behind you, and you have to beat Manchester once. So you need a minimum of 9 points, unless I don't know, everyone just constantly loses to each other. Then it's a different story, right?
And that's what the other groups are. There's too much like leveled teams, even though they're a group of that. It's just them beating each other is not good, right? So this is better that we have Bayern. They can smash everyone.
And honestly, do you want a really easy team that you have potential losing to? Because then that looks bad on you. But nobody's going to say anything if you lose Bayern.
We do better against
twice.
Bigger teams anyway.
Exactly. Actually, that's what we are known for, right? Like teams that press up and play high up the pitch. That's why Okan does amazing in all the derbies that he's played. Like except Beşiktaş, right? Every single team that pressed us, they got smashed. They got smacked across the face.
But we struggle
against teams.
Before.
Yep. Exactly. So he has some sort of experience, and he did well against Mönchengladbach. He did decent against Leipzig as well. So Okan knows how to play in Europe against these big teams. So I had trust in Okan. We just need those transfers.
Yeah.
As we get those, I think we'll be fine.
Any other points on Champions League, boys?
Are we going to talk about the Molde game? Like, are we going to talk performance and stuff, or what do you...
Guys, I do have to get going, though, unfortunately. I have prior obligations, but I want to say one thing before I do go, and it's similar to what Samet pretty much started this episode with, which is his love for Icardi. Icardi, we paid 10 million bone service for. That's a one-time fee, assuming, we might even get that and more within the next 3 years. We don't know how things are going to plan out, but his wages are what? Out of Galatasaray's pocket, do you guys remember what the cup was? Like 6 mil, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
6 mil.
So
over this year, we'll do 1 year at a time. This year, his cost to us was 16 mil. He basically paid that back for us. I know it's not that simple. I know we have other players that are involved. Muslera, Torreira, even though he was a little bit limited in his games in the playoffs.
He didn't play all of them either, though.
Yeah, Sacha Boey. These guys are, of course, really important. But without Icardi, we're not in the Champions League. I think that's a very simple, straightforward way to look at it. Without Icardi, we are not in the Champions League. Without Champions League, we would be making maybe 5 to 10 mil in Europa League instead of 25 to 30 plus mil. Mm-hmm. And now with the fact that we're in the Champions League, we have better control over future and current sponsor deals. We don't know the details of things. We have better control over the players that we can bring in to better enhance our team over the next 2-3 days. So Icardi's paying for himself, man. The jersey sales, do we have to talk about it? I just bought a jersey myself.
He broke
Icardi
the
number 9.
records. He broke records,
Same.
apparently.
So, yeah, man, this man's incredible, and the money that we spent for him, well worth it.
I
Well
bought
worth
2.
it.
I don't know why.
Because you love
One
him
to
that much,
frame.
man.
You
Yeah.
got to frame the other one.
Yeah. No, it's my rant, actually. They messed up one, but I'll get to that next episode.
Yeah, but good luck to you guys. I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Take it easy.
Yeah.
See you.
All right. Now we're free to shit on Yasin. Yeah, I guess we can go to the game. Who wants to bring us to that game?
So you got this, brother.
I got this. Okay, let's have a look. Let's first start by our first game that we played. It was the return against Molde at home. We won that game 2-1. Let me go over the lineup. I think I'll start with that. So in goal, we have Muslera, man, the legend. From right to left, we'll have Sasha Bowie, Victor Nelson, Abdul Kerim, Angelino. Then in the midfield is Kerem Demirbay, Lucas Torreira, and Dries Mertens. And up front, we had a winger who started for the first time in Tete, Mauro Icardi, and Kerem Aktürkoğlu. So some notable changes, as I said before. Kerem Demirbay starts actually a game for us. Torreira, who's back from the suspension from the red card he got earlier. He was only banned for 1 game. No additional charges for him, as the foul there wasn't as much violent intent or whatever in it. And Tete also makes his first start. The rest of the team is pretty standard if you've been following the team so far. And I would say my general view on the game is it was a really frustrating game to watch. Like, even though we played at home, I expected personally a lot more. And like the coach said earlier, right? I think the coach called Erling Mo. We just played better as a team. We were pretty much, I would say, outplayed as a team, but not outgunned, because we just have the better players than them.
I think if we had their physique, fitness, stamina, and gelled team play, we'd be unstoppable.
Yeah, the way they passed around, like how quickly they came to our box.
They were just so good in their areas. Like, each player knew exactly what to do, how to do it. They just lacked the finishing and the quality. That's what saved us, basically. Torreira, of course. I think if he wasn't there against Molde away, could have been even worse. He had a red card.
You mean at home?
Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry, at home, because he was suspended away, right? He had a red card.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. They even scored, and luckily it was offside. I think that with that momentum they had, they probably would have won, and we would have been out of the Champions League, because it felt like our guys didn't want it. Like, I don't know what happened.
Exactly.
Like,
there was no fight. The second half was absolutely horrible.
Just watching the ball, both Kerems, and it was just pure frustration, because they can do differently. It doesn't make sense. It's the Champions League. What happened?
It does make sense.
No.
It does make sense. It makes sense. You want to
Tell
know
me
why? Because this team was breaking down before, man. People, you know what I don't understand? Why does everybody shit on Kerem Aktürkoğlu when, in fact, he actually had the most chances created in that game, but no one says anything to Mertens. I love Mertens. I love that he presses, but he does not provide anything going forward. You know what I mean? And midfield is completely shot. No one knows what the hell they're doing. It's a complete mess, and Okan Hoca needs to figure that out. But to figure that out, you need some players in your hands. He had nothing. All he has is Kerem Demirbay, Berkan Kutlu, and supposedly injured Oliveira there. So what are you going to do? This is why I was getting frustrated because we're playing such a risky, gamble with waiting for these transfers. And this is what you're going to get. You're not going to all of a sudden make these players play amazing football just by changing the damn strategy. It might do better, but then changing a strategy for a specific team is not going to work overnight because they play a whole different system, man. Nobody in Turkey plays this type of system. You're not used to it. The players are not used to playing these type of players and this type of system. And you got to understand, they've been playing. This is the middle of the season for Molde. This is not like they're starting off the same level as we are. And you can clearly tell their fitness levels is way beyond ours. That's one of the main reasons.
Yeah.
So there is a lot.
With what is it called? The nail on the head, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It is true. Like we were also, like Samet said before, we were ball watching so much, and it is true. I also don't quite get why Kerem gets as much stick. I think he works really hard, right? Yes, it's frustrating for him to lose the ball, and he made some errors here and there, but in the end, he does at least like give you something, right? He goes for it. While again, going to the other Kerem, my God, what was that performance? I really I never got. I think someone mentioned in the group chat too. I've never actually had a player, and because we'll talk about the next game too, Antep
He
in a
needs
moment.
to drink more Floria water.
But I never had a player which I disliked this much in this short time span.
I felt like he was like a Halil, but in the midfield.
In midfield.
I know.
But that's what I'm saying, Samet. We keep getting people that needs Floria water, bro. Where are these ready players? We can't keep getting people who need rehabilitation. Bro, we need to get rid of that meme, bro. I know it was a meme, but I don't want any more players that are not ready that we're just taking gambles on. We're in the champ. We're in Europe now. You can't take that gamble. Last season, okay, you had just the league to worry about, but this season you don't just have the league.
Mm-hmm. We're fighting on two fronts, and
soon to be three if you put the Turkish Cup in there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think we'll play a lot of our youngsters in the Turkish Cup, which I'd love to see, but I'd also love to see us seriously get all the cups available. Because we got a Super Cup coming as well. That was cancelled. Well,
yeah.
We're very fortunate, by the way, that it got cancelled.
I guess so. Considering the situation, I guess it's a good thing. But all in all,
Absolutely.
we can say Molde was a terrible performance. We are lucky to have passed through them. And again, Icardi, I'm sorry, lads, but every episode is gonna be Mauro Icardi. Mauro Icardi. I love you, Mauro Icardi. It's insane. It's just enjoy it while we can.
And that's also the frustrating thing, right? Because look, I'm very, very, very happy that we have him. Just imagine if we didn't have Icardi. We would have been eliminated a long time ago by now.
Sinan
This
Gümüş.
man, yeah, this guy carries us so hard. He's basically too good for the team. Even at the moment, it's
The
even more
league,
evident.
the
But
team, yeah, for sure.
he's just too good, right? Yeah, man. Just frustrating. You know what also frustrated me? Look, okay, even though we may have looked toothless going forward, or we didn't really have the physique, but our defense has also been looking really shaky. We are very open, I would say, in the back, and like Angelio Hadinese, he's a bit newer, and he's known to be more of an offensive fullback or like a wingback type rather than someone who's capable defensively. But the other regulars, so to say, Nelson and Bowie, that game too, they were just spun around quite often by Molde. It was really not a good watch. Luckily though, we did go through, and in the end it's knockout football. Like, you don't have to play good to go through.
Bro,
This game we already went ahead, right, with a 2-3 win. And that second goal, the deflection, which was shown during the draw, which was shown during the draw too.
Tanri is a Galatasaray fan. Has to be. 2 deflection goals in 2 different games off of free kicks.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yeah, first Sergio and then Angelina, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I know. How many
Yeah, I don't know
goals
what's
did we
up with
score
Sergio.
in the home game?
2.
It was Angelino's goal that made it 2.
Yeah, and the Icardi penalty.
Of course.
Yeah, in the first half. Yeah,
Yeah.
like we got it right away, right? It was a free kick, I think. Kerem Demirbay launched it in,
Mhm.
if I recall correctly, and then 2 Molde players like pulled him down or whatever, and we got the penalty right away, pretty much. Then they checked for
Bro.
offside too, but there was no offside.
Yeah.
Then yeah, scored
Yo,
that in.
Molde was crazy that game, bro. They were playing like Spartans. They were so physically insane. They hurt each other. They clashed with one another, and both of those players had to come off because of how aggressive they were. Bro, they almost hurt Icardi that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were doubling down on him all the time.
They were so
Smart
scared
thing
of
to
him,
do.
bro. And despite that, he still performed that
Oh,
game.
yeah, I remember. Indeed, they were injuring themselves and stuff because of the fear of Icardi.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Well, with that said, shall we go on to the next game then? Gaziantep away.
Yes, which was just
Yes,
played
sir.
a few hours ago.
Yeah, exactly. Same lineup, right? Exactly the same. So that's interesting. Okan Buruk is
Mhm.
keeping it consistent.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? We played well, so
It was
might as
kind of
well change
broken
it.
last game.
Oh, yeah. Don't know about that.
And
But you need consistency, right? In order to
yeah, of
fix
course.
something.
Of course, what else to do? But
I don't know how I feel because last season I've been complaining about the game as well. Like for some reason we've been winning. Also last season 1-0.
Some reason.
2-1. Yeah, I'm serious. Like I haven't been completely satisfied with the game we played on a few matches aside. But
Okay.
well, I don't know if we're ballı mıyız, lucky mıyız? I don't know, man. These
You can't be that lucky.
I want a convincing ass 6-5-7-0. And with gameplay, not just lucky goals here and there.
You got Başakşehir last season. You got the Kayseri game last season. What else do you need, bro?
And I want to see that consistently this season.
Well, you will see that. You will
Oh, no,
see.
but
The
we
season
shall.
just started, lad.
Mhm.
and also that's the beauty of a league. Like you can't fully luck this out all the way to the end. There are 30. How many games again? 38.
38 games, bro.
Yes. You can't like do that all based on luck. Like with Champions League, whatever. Hadi neyse, that can happen, right? We saw it like a few years ago or 2 years ago with Real
Or
Madrid, for
Molde
example.
just now. Just recently, Molde.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
luck.
That's luck. Like we can like confess that. But in a league, in the end, the table doesn't lie.
Bro,
Right.
I sent something to you guys, bro. Okan Buruk is the first manager to get the quickest 30 wins at Galatasaray. He's the first. He has the most wins, 30 wins the quickest time. Took him the least amount of time. You don't get 30 wins out of thin air, bro. It doesn't happen. Last season, you don't get the highest XG, the highest XG scored, lowest conceded goals. You don't just get that from straight luck. Okay, the games might be a little, not pleasant to the eye, but if we're winning, that means that he's doing something right. You can't just say, "Oh, we don't play good football." Bro, football is subjective. What to you might be good to me, right? What's bad to you might be good to me. Well, I might like it, and what I like, you might not like. So it's subjective all the way through and through. The results speak at the end of the day. The cups that you win speak. And you were referencing Real Madrid, bro. They were like fucking YOLO when they won the Champions League with just Benzema. Do you guys
Yeah.
not remember that?
Mm.
Yeah. Bari, City.
So are you saying we can
Chelsea.
win it with just Icardi?
There's chance.
Well,
of course.
obviously you need some sort of tactic. I'm telling you, there's no. If all it took was good players, then don't get a coach ever. Just get good players and let them play, off the top of their head. I hate that fucking comparison. It's like only the players want it. Obviously, the coach has something to do with it.
Of course. It's always like maybe not 50-50, but of course he has still a huge influence.
Yeah,
Whether it be like
is-
man management, tactics,
right.
other stuff,
Okan
Listen.
Hoca did not have a good preseason. You could tell. I don't know what he's trying to do. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. And you can tell he was very stressed. I found him to be very stressed and making stupid decisions, stupid lineups. But I'm telling you, that was most likely because of the pressure he had on top. Everyone was expecting him to go into the Champions League to make it. If he didn't, he was going to get sacked. But now he's more relaxed. I think he'll really focus on the team a little bit more instead of like, before it was get into the Champions League, whatever means necessary, right? Now it's more like, okay, I can finally sit down and concentrate on making this team play. So we should give him a little bit more time. But I'm just telling you, you're not going to see perfect football that you're expecting because he doesn't play that type of football. You're more of like that tiki-taka, possession-based football type guy.
Yeah. The Fatih Terim 4-4-2 diamond. That's what I love to see. Anyway, Antep 3-0. Actually 5-0, but 2 goals offside. I think it's both Kerem's goal or one Icardi's. Anyway, they missed the shot at getting a hat-trick. Both played amazing. Don't have much to say, honestly. Were we great? The score doesn't show really the gameplay we did it?
No. Doesn't really reflect our performance. I think this game had more to do with the fact that Antep were just really bad rather than us being really good.
Exactly.
Like they were really like sloppy.
If it was Molde, it would be the same game we had.
Most likely,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we didn't really introduce the goals and the lineup. If you want, I'll do that.
Mm.
Well, we won 3-0 away with the goals coming from Kerem and 2 of them from Icardi. 1 was a penalty. So Gaziantep came out with a 4-1-4-1 system. And the goal was Batuan Shen, a loanee from us. And they had Gradel as left back. I found that very interesting.
Sivasspor, right? Gradel.
Yeah, Gradel's from Sivasspor. He was playing left back. The back 4 consisted of Gradel, Jilaboji, Ersoy, and Artan. Apparently, the wing backs are not actual wing backs. Anyway, in midfield was Jetovic, Maxim on the left, the wing, Bikel, and Soyalp in the midfield, and Eski Halac.
At a certain point, Maxim came into the middle of the field, and that's when they started to be more dangerous. So their coach did react on our play.
Yeah. Let me just finish the lineup. Riascos with the striker. And basically our lineup's the same from last week as Salih said. But yeah, go ahead.
What did I want to say?
I don't know. Samet was going to talk. I'm like, let me just finish. But Nasa, I mean, look, I don't think we started off pretty well.
Yeah,
we found some positions. But then, like Samet said, they changed something up. It's like Maxim started coming into the midfield. They started having more possession in the midfield. And especially towards the end of the first half and starting of the second half, we kind of lost control there. And we lost the midfield. Similar to what happened last week. You can see that this midfield is just not meshing. And I think one of the reasons is Kerem Demirbay. I don't know. I don't think he knows what he's supposed to do, bro. This guy, how did he ever reach a 32 million, transfer fee record is beyond me. He must have had Nagelsmann is a genius. He's an absolute genius when he had him. That was the coach that he worked with that got him to the level that he transferred for 32 million. Kerem Demirbay just makes the dumbest decisions sometimes, and it irritates the hell out of me. Bro, there was this position where the ball was in the air. It's coming down to Kerem Demirbay, and instead, he had like almost no pressure on him. Instead of putting it up the field into Gaziantep's half, he passes back with another air ball towards Nelson, bro. And it turned out to a position, and they got a corner off of it. Bro, what the hell, man? It drove me insane this game, bro. And one thing, we absolutely need a number 10. Throughout the whole game, there were a lot of positions where if Mertens could have just made one simple pass, cutting lines, Tete would have been, he would have had a goal. Kerem would have had another goal. Maybe Icardi would have had a goal. Because at one point, Icardi got so fed up with the distribution of the balls from the midfield. The man legit had to come into the midfield and distribute it himself. He
became Falcao. Remember
bro,
those
for
times?
real. Yeah, bro. He almost actually assisted Tete. If the ball was a little better, Tete was one-on-one with the keeper. That was the only time I've seen anyone do anything like that, attempt a ball like that. That's what I'm saying. Mertens gets mad love. I respect him for it. But Kerem, on the other hand, he always tries these type of balls. But since he's, people say he loses it too much, that's because he's the only one trying these risky balls.
Well, Sergio, Oliveira, Micho weren't included in this because they were injured or something.
Well, Sergio apparently went to, Greece for holidays,
No.
but I don't believe that. I think he's meeting with
goner.
somebody.
Oh, they said it was lies, though. I don't know. We will see.
But what did you guys think of Tete, bro?
Not there yet. Not there yet. I think if he was called Kerem, he would be lynched right now, and people would be bashing him. But he's not
Agreed.
called Kerem, so he's called Tete. He's an amazing Brazilian dude that just didn't perform today.
Yeah, you can see the technique, etc.
yeah.
But it's just he went into these duels or tried to dribble past him, but it's just
He
failing
needs
and failing and failing. Like
a team. He needs a team where he can tiki-taka with. He can pass and then get back the ball. It's like it's not an individual sport, and that's the whole thing. This team needs to gel. And again, today, we still are not there yet. One positive point, unlike you, Emre, I think Kerem actually did a good job. He was constantly making these runs into their defense, which Oliveira doesn't seem to do anymore. So seeing that made me happy. It's also what led to the first goal, because when he was there in the box, Kerem was there to pick it up and shoot it right there in the goal. So good stuff.
Yeah, he stopped doing that afterwards and started making. Maybe he should just stay up the field and put someone else in midfield.
I don't know. You didn't like Oliveira. You will not like Kerem Demirbay. I don't know who needs to come in to give you like. I have no clue.
Well, do you guys like Oliveira? Do you guys think he was worth the money?
Yes, Oliveira brought us the championship last season, and I'm sure he can be better this season as well.
Brother. Kerem Aktürkoğlu had more assists than Mertens and
Yes.
Oliveira combined.
But
What are you explaining to me right
his
now?
role doesn't translate in stats. It's the pre.
And he gets paid like
pass.
2.5 times
Yeah, he's
what
overpaid.
Kerem got paid.
Okay, sure, but whatever. Hey, it's getting late, guys. Maybe we should round it up a bit.
yeah, sure, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Did you have any ending points for the Gaziantep game? Luckily, we got the points. International break is coming up. We are in the table with 7 points. What's our standing?
Second place currently with a goal difference of 5. And let's also concede the fact that we haven't conceded a single goal in the last 3 games.
Good stuff.
And also, you guys are saying, yo, this is Gaziantep, but this is the same Gaziantep that's, made Fenerbahce struggle away. Away to Fenerbahce while being a man down for like 60 minutes.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Okay, so let's remember that.
Yeah. All right, then. Thank you again for listening to this very long episode. Well, it is what it is. We had a lot to catch up on. And thank you for listening. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram at LionsDanGS. We have a Patreon. We have a Discord, which you can ask us about, and we'll give you a link to join us. And, we wish you all a very good day forward. Bye-bye.
Peace out.
Bye.